Everybody, welcome to the Shuko SAT review series. And we are still in the topic of the linear equations. Like I mentioned several times before, linear equation play a very important topic in the SAT exams. It covers so many different types of the problems. Okay, so we're still in this linear equation. So for this video, we're going to focus on the unit is how to find the linear equation from a given graph or a given table. So like in the SAT exam, they frequently have the problem, they give you a graph, like they put a line on the graph, then you want you to find the equation for the lines, or they give you a table and want you to find based on the table values, they want you to find the equations to represent the tables here. So this is also, like I mentioned, is a pretty basic and easy topic, but I want you to make sure you practice enough so when you see this type of the problem occurred in the SAT, then you will be able to pick that out and solve it quickly, okay? So we're going to, because total in here, we have 22 practice problems in this unit. So what I plan to do is I'm going to divide the video into 2 videos so we don't spend too much time on one video to solve all the problems here. All right. Okay, so before we take a look at our worksheets, I like to do a brief review and then we can do it. Okay, so I'm going to go to the whiteboard and we're going to do a brief review. So then we'll kind of refresh our memories, right? It's never hurt, we always reviewed it. Okay, so for the linear equation, one of the most popular form is we call this the slope and the intercept, right? So the slope and the intercept, in fact, this is the y-intercept form. And this is the form we use most frequently. And so this is the form, is like, we call this y is equal to the mx plus b here. So the m, this is the slope, right? And the b here, this is what? This is the y-intercept, right? That means where is this line intercept the y-axis here. Okay, so we know the slopes here, right? So the slope ends, right? So the slope end, they can be positive, can be negative, and cannot exist, right? So let's take a look at the slope is positive. That means when your slope is positive, that means in here, if this is your, okay, so here, all right, so now if a slope is positive, that means if you have a, let's try to, okay, so that means if you have equations like this, okay? So like we talked before, that means you go uphill. So that means when x is increased, y is increased. So if you see a graph look like this way, go up here, so you know immediately your slope going to be positive. And here, this is where you intersect the y-axis. That is what we call is the what? Y-intercept, right? So the same things here we talked before, you can see a slope is less than 0. So if a slope is less than 0, okay, so then you will see a graph, something will look like this, right? So okay, so this will be the graph for the negative slope. That's what we talk about is you go downhill, right? So I remember in our previous video, we say you kind of sitting here, you go downhill here, right? So let's say it's the negative. So here it's kind of like you go uphill when climbing the mountains, right? Okay, so now next one's here, you're going to see a slope is equal to 0. So when the slope is equal to 0, that means you're going to have So if this is the, okay, so then your slopes here equal to 0, that means you are walking on the flat grounds, right? So that means you're walking on the flat ground. You're not climbing up here, you're not climbing down here, right? And then is here. Now the next ones here is the slope is what? Is undefined. Okay, so when the slope is undefined, see here, right? So that means you're going to have a line, okay? So you're going to have a line, something look like this way, right? So it will be what? Will be perpendicular to the x-axis, right? So this is the x-axis and the y-axis. So if the slope greater than 0, so you will see a line go up and the slope go less than 0, you see a line go downhill. The slope equal to 0, you're going to see a flat one. So typical the equations, right? So the equation here going to looks like y is equal to some constants, right? So it's a flat grounds here, right? So if this is a here, so if the undefined, so if the equation will be just x equal to some constants here. So let me put it into a different constant. So it's something equal to a. So you immediately see here, you know, when the problem, like we said, the SAT is timed exams, right? So when you see that, so you need to immediately register, you know, what type of the slopes here. Then also, another one we're going to review is when you're giving the 2 points, right? So I think most of you know that. So this is x1, y1, x2, y2. So what is the slopes here? Slope is the rise over runs, right? Like we talked about in our previous here. So rise is y2 minus y1, run is x2 minus x1 here. So that is another things you need to remember about the linear equation. I think we covered this several times already. So also the last ones here is how to find the linear equations, right? Okay, with slope and a point. Okay, so how to find the equation with the slope and the point. So the slopes here, let's say the slope is m, and the point is here is x1, y1. I think your algebra teacher taught you many, many times. So the equations will be y minus y1, right? Y1 is the points, right? So here is given points here. Okay, then is equal to m times x minus x1 here. Okay, so before we go to the worksheets, I hope you copy down all those basic concepts, right? Then we'll be able to solve our problem quickly. And then we talk about this, this concept, at least this is the second time we talk about from our previous different topics, the units of the under the linear equation, we did talk about that. Okay, so now let's go to the worksheets here. Okay, so here is the worksheets here. Okay, so now let's take a look here. The first problem is here, right? The first problem, like we said, which of the following is the equation of the line L in XY planes here? Like we talked before, right? So SAT is a timed exam. So try to eliminate the not the possible one. We can do that. So I know the first one, the x equal to 1, this cannot be the answer. Because we just from the review, we know if x equal to some value, then that line is the perpendicular line to the x-axis. Then this cannot be, right? So this cannot be here because when y equal to some value, what happens is a line parallel to the x-axis, right? And also, then we know the common is the mx plus b here, right? So then take a look at part C here. In here, this line does intersect the y is here, right? So that means they do have the intercept. So if you take a look at the C, and the C is y equal to x, does not have intercept. So I know the C cannot be the correct answer. So now the only possible choice have is the D here. Now you see if you compare to the y equal to mx plus b, and this is supposed to be your b's, right? So that's the intercept. That's correct here, right? So that's why you eliminate the first three and you get your answer. Of course, you can choose the points and then try to find it, but this is a lot faster, right? Okay, so now let's take a look at the second one here, right? The second one, remember, right? So remember, oh, this line is going downhill, right? So like here, you see you have a person standing here, you're going the downhill. So if it's going the downhill, I know what happened to my slope is positive or negative. Slope will be what? Slope will be negative, correct? Okay, also I notice here, right? I notice here, this line intersect the y-axis is in here. So I know this, so I know this line going to have a what? Y-intercept at equal to what? Is equal to -4 here, okay? So now let's take a look, right? So which one, will satisfy our relations here. So remember the y equal to the mx plus b's, right? So y equal to mx plus b's here. So I know the slope here, this one has to be what? Has to be negative, right? And also by the graph here, what happened to this y-intercept here? Y-intercept has to be -4. So let's take a look at what is the forms here. So if you take a look at this one, so if you move the y to the other side, so you will get x equal to the y minus 4, and you do a 4, so you get a y equal to the x plus 4, right? So x plus 4, take a look here, right? So for these ones here, this is ones, right? So this is a positive, right? So it's a positive and the slope. So I know this one cannot be the answer. Okay, let's take a look at these ones here. So this ones here is the same thing. You move the y over, and so you will have x equal to y plus 4, right? Then you minus 4, so you will equal to y equal to the x minus 4. Okay, so if you want to rewrite it, so you can see better to match what our form. So you see, oh, the intercept is -4. That's good. But still, what is the slope here? The slope here is 1, right? So okay, these ones here cannot be the answers, right? Okay, now let's take a look at these ones here. So you move the x to the other side. So you will have y equal to the -x minus 4 here. Now you check, you say, okay, what is the slope here? Oh, slope is negative. Oh, good, slope has to be negative. And my y-intercept is what? It's -4, match -4 here. So I know what is here, so this will be our answer, right? Okay, so in here, we just do a double check here. So like in here, you can do that this way also. So you will get this is y equal to -x plus 4. So from here, you will see, hey, the slope is -1, is okay. But something, what is this one not working, right? Because the intercept has to be -4. This is a +4, so I know that's not going to work, right? So the answer is C here. Like I said, in here, you can choose 2 points and then use find the slope and then try to plug into the formula. We'll do some of that later. But for those type of the problems, basically, they just try to test you. So you can cross out the things, you know immediately it's not true, right? Okay, so now, so the problem number 3 here, they say the graph above show the distance traveled in feet by a product of a conveyor belt in minutes after the product is placed on the belt. Which of the following equation correctly related to the D and the X here? Okay, so for this type of the problem, the things here confuse the students, those different, like the variable. So basically, m is your x. Here, this is your y, right? So the distance is dependent on the how many minutes you travel here. So now we still have these equations, right? Y equal to the mx plus b here. So b is the intercept. Well, so intercept, the intercept here is 0, correct? Right? So now I know this one immediately is mx because the b is what? Because my b is what? This one's here is equal to 0, right? So it's mx. Okay. And now let's take a look. What is the m? M is the slope, right? So it's rise over run. So pick a point, right? So I can say, okay, so now I'm picking these points here, this interpoint here, right? So take a look, rise over run. So how much it rise here from here to here? It rise how many? 2 units, right? So it rise 2 units. Okay, so m, the rise over run. So it rise 2 units here. Now how many is run here? Run is from here to here. So how many x runs here? 1 unit, right? So this is 1, so it's 2. So I know this is 2x. So now y is d, so it's d is equal to 2m here. That what is the answers, right? So this will be A's here. Like I said, for those type of problem, you know, they use different variables. Sometimes students get to kind of not feel comfortable with different type of the variables. So if I were you, just change it like, okay, m equal to x, y equal to d equal to y, and then using the same y equal to mx. This is what we call this what. This is kind of, we call this the golden, like this is kind of like, this is a golden formula, right? So for the linear equation, this is the y-intercept, the slope and the intercept form here. Okay, so now here is the same. Okay, so let's take a look at this one here, number 5 here. So they said, which of the following represent the relationship between H and C? Okay, so H and C is here, the cost by a boat by hour. So, I don't like those. So put this is X, put this is Y, right? Okay, so same old, right? Y equal to the mx plus b is here. So b is the intercept. So where is the plus b here? Ha is here, right? So the intercept is here. Okay, so what is the b is here? B is what? B is 5. Okay, so far so good. So I have y equal to the mx plus 5 here. Okay. Sorry, so this is 5. All right, so plus 5. Now I need to find the rise over run. Oh, I find this point. I find it here. I find it here, right? So these points here, let's see, what is the rise over runs here, right? Okay, so here, okay, so n is equal to the, so remember the rise over run. So how much I rise here? Okay, let's take a look. This one is I rise from from 0 to what? From 0 to 8, correct? Okay, so that means this is 8, right? Now let's take a look at my run. How much I run here? From 0 to what? 0 to 1 here. Okay, so that's good. So that's 0 to 1. So what is here? So here is, here I made a mistake here. This is 1, but this, this one's here, right? So when the x equal to 0, see here, be careful here. You really start to, I hope I can erase this and not erase the whole thing. Oh, great. Okay, good. Okay, so the rise because you start out here, right? So you start out here. You start out at the 5, Now you rise to the 8. So your rise really is here. Okay, so that's why in here, see here, if not careful, we will make a mistake. And so that's why how many you rise here? You rise what? You rise 3s, right? And the same way is here, right? So this is the run, so it's the same distance here. So how much you run here? You run once, right? So this is 3. So the equations here will just be y equal to the 3x plus 5. Now what is your y? Is c, so it's 3h plus 5. Right, so change back to your xy, change to y, c, and h. Okay, so let's see which one is c equal to 3h plus 5. Ah, this one's here, right? So that's our answers here, okay? All right, so now let's take a look here. Okay, so this one's here. Also, let's say which of the following equation is y equal to the 2x minus 5. Oh, that's good, right? So here, this is y-intercept, like we already learned. So this is the y-intercept. Okay, so the y-intercept is -5. That means when it intersect the y-axis, it has to be -5. So immediately, this one intersect the positive y. So immediately, this is not the answer. And this one intersect the positive. So this is not the answer. Okay, so I have a B and D left. They both intersect at the -5. That's good. And now let's take a look. This one's here. What is the slope here? Slope is 2. So is it positive or negative? It's a positive. So positive slope, like during the review, what do we say here? Is go uphill, right? So which answer? Ha, is part D, right? Because part B is go downhill, right? So if you put a person here, it's kind of like go downhill. This is go uphill. Okay, very good. Okay, so like for the first 5 problems, we all use the same basic concept about y equal to mx plus b, the positive and negative concept, those things. Okay, okay. So now the next ones here is this one here is a line t show in the xy planes here, and then I want to find the slope of time t here. Okay, so in order to find the slope here, right? So you want to find the slope of time t. And just during our review, we know the slope is equal to y2 minus y1 and x2 minus x1 here, if you have 2 given points, right? Okay, so then you will ask here, okay, if I need 2 points, and I can choose any of these 3 too, right? So why they give us 3 points? Okay, so the 3 points here, so you can choose like the first 2 points to find the slope, or these 2 points to find the slope. So that's fine. But the keys here is you want to look at it and say find the one. It's easier to do the calculation. So I will choose these 2. The reason why, okay, the reason why I choose these 2, because both these 2 points, the x coordinate is a whole number and the y coordinate is a fraction, but both of them with the what? With the phi on the denominator. So it's easier to calculate. Okay, so if you say, hey, I want to choose the first point and the second point, see what happens here. The first x coordinate, you have 2, so you need to do a fraction. Then the second coordinates, you have 5, you need to do a fraction. Then you need to do a fraction multiplication. So the calculation is a lot harder, correct? So that is why I like to, this is kind of like the SAT's typical type of SAT problems here. They try to trick you. So if you just jump right, try to use the formula, you might end up with a very complicated fractions, right? But in here, if you take a look at, look at it carefully and pick the points more carefully, then you know, you might be able to simplify the calculations here. So, okay, I'm choosing these 2 points, right? So I'm choosing -6, -27/5, and 9, and 3/5 here, all right? So now I'm going to plug it into the formula. So my slope is equal to the y rise over rounds, right? So it's y2 minus y1. So this is 3/5 minus y1. So this is 27/5. So another thing the SAT try to test you is be careful about those negative signs, right? Don't make a mistake on those negative signs. It's negative minus -6, all right? So now simplify it. 9 minus minus is what? It's positive, correct, okay? And the minus minus is positive, so it's 3/5 plus 27/5. Oh, nice. They both have a denominator. It's a 5. I don't even need to find the common denominator. So this is a 15. So this is a 5. What is 3 plus 27? 30. Oh, wow. 30 divided by 5. What is 30 divided by 5? It's 6, right? You still have 15. Now I can simplify this a little bit. I would say that divided by 3. So this is 2. So this is 5, right? So now my final answer here is what? It's 2/5. Okay. So of course, like I mentioned, if you choose the other 2 points, you will get the same answer. It's just probably the fraction operations. That's why I told my student, if you can prevent, right, to use a fraction, you want to prevent it, because most of the student, it's easier for a lot of students to make mistake. So that's why we don't want that happens here. Okay, now let's take a look at number 7 here. Okay, so number 7 here, oh, it's another slope intercept form. Okay, so let's say the line y equal to the kx plus 4, where k is a constant. It's a graph in the xy plane. If this line containing the point C and D, right? So what is the slope of the lines, right? Okay, in terms of the C and the D's here. Okay, so first things, let's highlight what do we want to find. They want to find the slope of the line. Okay, what do you mean the slope of the line? Oh, okay, so slope of the line in this problem is the case, right? Because this is the slope, right? Y equal to mx plus b, so the slope of the line is k. So you say, okay, I know the problem wanted me to find the case here. So you have 2 points, right? So you say, okay, so this is y equal to the kx plus 4. So you have 2 points. So this is the first one is always x, the second one is y, right? So you have d is equal to the kx plus 4. And what is x here? X is c, right? Okay. So it's k times c plus 4. So it will be d is equal to the k times c plus 4. Now minus 4 minus 4. So this is d minus 4 equal to k times c. And in here, right, we want to find the k. So what I need to do, I divide it by c here. So I have a k is equal to d minus 4 divided by c. So let's take a look at which one is the one. Is d minus, okay, it's a here. Okay, so read the problem and highlight what you try to find, right? Okay, number 8. Okay, so number 8, okay, so number 8 in the xy planes here, a point 3 and 6 is showing with the in this line. So I have another point S and T lies on the line of the linear equation. If S and T both are the positive, what is the ratio of the T to S here? Okay, so all right. So what did I try to tell? What did I try to ask? So what is the ST? So let's see the positive, one of the ratios, right? Okay, so let's take a look. So basically they tell you, okay, if I have another points here, right? So this is the point, This is the ST, correct? All right, so now here, you also notice here, this line passing through the origins, right? So what is the origin? Origin is what? Origin is 0, 0. So I know the slope of these lines here, it will be y2 minus y1, x2 minus x1, right? So this is 6 over 3, right? So this is x1, this is y1, and this is x2, this is y2, right? So it's 6 over 3, so it's what? It's the ratio, it's 2 here. So now, because the ST is, so because this ST is here, right? So because this ST is also on this line, that means what? That means the slope of ST is the same as 2. So that means the slope also is equal to 2. If I use the ST, so ST, so now I change this one to be X2, this one to be Y2. So it's Y2 minus Y1, so it's T minus 0, right? Over X2 minus X1, so it's S. So the T, so they want to find the ratio, T to S. So what is the answers here? So the ratio, this is 2, right? So T to S is 2 here, correct? Okay, so the T to S is 2. So that means the T to the S is here. That means the T is twice, right? So it's 2 to 1 here. Right, so what is the answers here? The answers here is C here. Okay, right, so pretty good problems here. All right, so now, this one here is, okay, so letter M in the XY plane contain the point 2, 4 and 0, 1. Which of the following is the equation of the line? Okay, so they want to find the equations, right? So the since here, they try to confuse you. They said M is here, and then they want you to think it's slope, but they said this is line M, right? So this is line M. So they want to find the equation of the line M. So don't get confused by it. Okay, so now the first one, I'm going to find the slope here. So the slope, what is the slope? Slope is y2 minus y1, right? So the slope is y2 minus y1. So it's 4 minus 1 over 2 minus 0. So what is 4 minus 1? So 3. So it's 3 half, right? Okay, so now I can use the slope and a point, right? So which point I'm going to choose? Well, I think, of course, I'm going to choose this point to use. Why? Easier, got a 0 layer, so it's always easier to deal with 0. Okay, so the formula is y minus y1 here, so y minus the 0.1 is equal to the slope, right? 3 half times x minus the x1, so it's x0. So now you will have y minus 1 equal to what? 3 half of x. And you plus 1 both sides. So what you get here, so y equal to the 3 half x plus 1. So which answer match here? It's D here. Okay, good job. Okay. Okay, so now in the number 10 here, right? So number 10. In the XY graph, the graph of which equation is a line? Okay, so this one, they say, hey, I want to find the slope equal to 3. All right, so this is pretty straightforward problems, right? So for those type of problem, you should get it within like 20 seconds here. So this one's mx plus b, right? So what is my slopes here? Slope is the constant in front of x. So let's say, hey, this line has to be slope equal to 3. Immediately, what is the answer here? What is your answers here? slope equal to 3. So my answer will be what? Ha, it's C, right? Right, why? Because this one, this slope is 1/3. It's not. What is the slope of this one? This is the 1 times x, right? So this is slope. So the slope here, this is 1. The slope here, this is 1/3. Both is not 3. So what is this slope here? So the slope here is 6. So this is not. So I know the C. Okay. Okay. So the C is the answer here. Good job. Okay. Let's go to take a look. Okay. So next one is here. This one, number 11, is very, very similar like the number 8 here, okay? Okay, so now let's say, okay, a line in the XY plane, right? So this line passing, let's highlight the keyword they try to tell us. A line in the XY plane, this line passing through the origin and have a slope 1/7. So which of the following lines lies on the points lies on the lines here, right? Okay, so this is one very similar like we did on the problem number 8. So the origin, that means the point is what? 0, 0, right? And the slope, that means for any points, right? For any points on the line. So let's say x1, y1 on the line. Okay, so the slope has to be 1/7. So the slope is rise over run, right? So it's rise over run. So it's the y, so it's y1 minus 0 is y1, and x1 minus 0 is x1. So this slope here is 1/7, right? That means the ratio, right? So the rise over run, that means the ratios here, right? So it's equal to the 1/7 here. It has to be 1/7, right? So now let's take a look. This one, 0 to 7, this is not because my x cannot be negative, cannot be zeros, right? Okay, so what happened to here? What is the ratio of y and x? Is 7/1. So it's equal to 7. It's not equal to 1/7. So this one is not. How about this one's here? The ratio is 7/7. It's 1. So this one is not. So how about here? This ratio is 2/14. So it's equal to what? 1/7. So this is the answer, right? So that's what is the key points here because they went through the origin. So that's why, you just get the point on the line so you can find the ratio of these 2 points. That is the what? That is the slope, right? So it's very important. So this problems here, so, similar, right? So this one is similar to the problem number 8. So, you can go back forth and review that. Okay, let's do our last problem for this video. Okay, so here, let's highlight the key points we want to find, right? So in here, let's say, in the XY plane, the line determined by the point, so I have 1 point, 2 point, right? And passing through the origins, right? Passing through the origin again. So it's the same problem, similar problem. So let's say which value could be the value of case here, right? Okay, so for this problems here, so it's the same things, right? So this lines here, I don't, so I don't know what this line looks like, but this lines here passing through the origins, right? So that means this is your origin point. So this is could be the 2k, right? So this is a 2k point, and this is the k/32, right? So that means that these 3 points in the, they all laying on the lines here. So they use the same concept. So the slope of these 2 points, right? So the 2k and the origin. So the slope of the 2k and the origin will be k minus 0, 2 minus 0. It should equal to the slope of this point, right? The k32 and origins, right? Because why? Because they are on the same line. So of course they're going to have the same slopes here. So the slope of K32, so this will rise over 1. So this will be 32 minus 0 and the K minus what? K minus 0, right? Okay, so now, so this will be K is 2, then this is 32 to the K. So how to solve for K? Cross product, right? So you do cross product. So when you do the cross product, what is here? So you will get the K square is equal to what? 64. So you take the square roots. So K could be the positive 8 or K equal to the negative 8. And of course, here they did not give us the negative value. So we know what is the answers here. K is equal to the positive 8. All right, we did a lot of problems here for this video. So let's take a break. And so I'm going to stop the videos here. And the remaining problem will be on the second video here. All right. Okay, so you guys doing good and have a good day, and looking forward to talk to you and finish the remaining problems here. Okay, bye-bye.